Namaste. In my previous video, I was talking about the sexual relationship as per medical science and its terminology. And I was speaking about the Prakriti and the Purusha aspect. Now, let's try understanding the very concept of why Prakriti and Purusha, or why Prakriti and Purusha are compared to Shiva and Parvati Devi, or Mother Goddess Lalita Devi, or Natya Brahma or Natya Sutradhara. To start with, one really needs to understand the very meaning of Prakriti and Purusha by and large at its level. The point again over here is, as I was speaking about the requisites and prerequisites as told by Prakriti and Purusha, or Shiva and Parvati, they were the very aspects, of the pre-required qualifications for becoming that male and female existence on this earthly existence. As I was speaking about the procreation or that anu which is created due to the intercourse between male and female respectively, for the very purpose of keeping the clan alive or that alive, or that family alive, family cycle going on. And here is where one needs to understand this anu, or that Parmanu, which is the resultant force of that male and female's sexual intercourse, is the benefactor for doing those final rites for the mother and father. Understand this. Why this aspect is very important in relieving the bodies of male and female, due to which this Parmanu is born. This male and female, if and only if male and female have those conjugal sexual relationship, that's when this anu or Paramanu is born, right? We need to understand this. So when this body leaves, whether it is male and female, due to male and female conjugation, due to which anu and Parmanu is born, again the same anu and Parmanu will follow the same cycle. If he is not relieved to its fuller levels, again this body will be born. So this is one of the primary aspects as per the Vedic theology or the Upanishadic theology. So, and this anu and Parmanu, who is the resultant force of the sexual interaction between male and female, has to have certain balanced compositions of DNA, RNA, and chromosomal and hormonal quantity, right? Because this body is vulnerable. This human existence, or the human body, or the humanoid is vulnerable to these DNA, RNA or chromosomal or the hormonal quantified quantifications. In case if there is any kind of imbalance in DNA, RNA, hormonal changes or whatever it is, some kind of disorders or some kind of some kind of disabilities in the production happens. And this is the reason why even for that sexual contraction of male and female, that correct time is taken, ladies and gentlemen. This needs to be understood, because that's when Prakriti and Purusha will get connected. That's when male and female will get connected. And both the counterpart energy levels gets transferred. Think about it. It is a very much phenomena, and it is a very much systematized based approach for that sexual contraction. And today if I really look at this DNA, RNA, chromosomal, hormonal, or whatever it is, you name it, it is being replaced by the advanced level of medical technologies. Something like transformation of male, transformation from male to female, female to so-called transgenderism. I'm not trying to demean their existence there, but what I'm trying to say is this ecosystem, whatever that is there of the earthly existence, gets disturbed due to this. Of course, naturally, if they are born with that transgenderism aspect, I don't deny and I do not want to question on that. But that male and female concept, male to female, female to male concept, if this gets disrupted, that's when the ecosystem gets disturbed. We need to think about it from the conjugal sexual relationship aspect as well, ladies and gentlemen. The reason for this is that Anu and Parmanu, which is born, gets affected due to this. This Anu and Parmanu, you can't expect a transgendered female to have that Anu and Parmanu, right? We need to think about it. I'm not talking about that, other techniques of child being born, that fertility or infertility, wherein Siemens is, injected to the female for giving birth to child. That is a different aspect altogether. And that is one reason why, if you really see in Mahabharata also, Karna was born not from the very, Kunti Devi actually like prayed to Surya Deva. And she was conceived respectively. Telepathically. This is one very key aspect for the researchers, which one needs to understand. And the very aspect, we need to understand the very aspect of that character generation and, character generation or character with tastes and qualities, and that character with the external qualities like external outlook or internal outlook, or characters with definite attitude and definite set of goals. If the and one needs to understand the Anu and Parmanu who comes, or who is the resultant force of that male and female sexual act, has a reason. Everyone has a reason. Every individual has a reason for this, which one needs to understand by and large. Whether you say karmic deeds, whether you say previous birth revelations, or previous birth deeds, or whatever it is. This is a universal fact. Now, if you really see, here is where one needs to take Parvati Devi as Prakriti, and this is embodied by the so-called female, and Purusha being Shiva, embodied by male. Unless and until Purusha comes into contact with Prakriti, and Prakriti coming into contact with Purusha, it's not a full life. Understand this. Both of them have their own parallel connections. They work hand in hand. This is one of the key concepts. Let's say male and male tries to have that conjugational relationship, sexual relationship. Would that really happen? No, right? Likewise, female and female. It does not happen, right? It only happens when male and female come into contraction with in the form of sexual intercourse. Here is where that energy is distributed. Male being predominant over here. Male has that highest level. And on contrary, Shiva, if we really see, there needs to be understood that Srishti Laya Jati Gati. Purusha, or so-called Shiva, is responsible for that. Prakriti is responsible for giving that ultimate result of Anu and Parma, because she is the direct force, which one needs to understand. They have donned various roles and various characters during their advent, or their advent will be always there. From the dharma, artha, kama, moksha aspect also. Now, the result, which is nothing but Anu plus Parmanu, atom plus subatom. This is at a terrestrial level. That's where the terrestrial being happens, which one needs to understand. Here is where today the modern day individuals have protruded and contaminated the very divine and blissful and purposeful based and with a good cause reasoning for getting another entity into this world, whether it is male or female, to take that lineage, which is what again? Upkeeping the clan's dynasty. Clan's dynasty should not go stop there, because this is a key, a very primary aspect as well. And this is where one should be differentiating between what is right way of thinking and wrong way of thinking. If we see, Natya Shastra clearly has explained this. Now, this Natya Sutra Dhara or Natya Brahma or Shiva comes together. And he is actually like trying to have that spiritual divine communion to create that balancing act of the ecosystem. And that's when Manmadha was seeing this act. Okay, fine, he was seeing this act. But he didn't understand the very qualities of Prakriti. And he was having a very different kind of attitude. Likewise, Ravana, when he was seeing, when he saw Sita, he didn't take Sita as the Jagat Janani or the very Amsha of Bhudevi or very Amsha of Lalita Devi or Durga Devi. He being a very devout of Shiva or Purusha. That's where the mistake happened. And thus he had to die, he had to perish. So this is one thing that one needs to really understand. Here is what you call one needs to deep dive and delve into the very subject of understanding that enactment. And Mohini Bhasmasura as well. Mohini, a beautiful damsel, right? A beautiful damsel which is having charismatic and outlook and whatever you say, aristocracy. This Bhasmasura was enchanted with her. Unfortunately, from the negative means. If only he had thought from the positive point of view, with certain limitations and boundaries, he would not have turned into ashes. Again, think about it. These enactments are what actually, talks about. This is where the greatness of Vedas and Upanishads is. And the Natya Shastra's very concept as well. Now, one needs to understand the meaning of beauty or the beautification. This is where one needs to get to the level of understanding about Antarmukha Samaratya Bairmukha Suparlabha. And interestingly, I need to give the reference of one very Krodha Karankushojwala Manorupekshu Kodanda Pancha Tanmatra Saika Nijaruna Prabhapura from Lalita Sahasranama. And now, if I need to take this very aspect of, understanding that. One needs to read Lalita Sahasranama or Devi Khadgamala, understand Devi Khadgamala to understand the very meaning of Prakriti. Shiva or Purusha in reference to Srishti, Laya, Jati, Gati, as I was telling. And that Parabrahman or that Ardhanari Swarupa aspect of Shiva and Parvati. If one really understand this, one can really understand what is that male and female sexual interaction act is all about, ladies and gentlemen. Now, Prakriti and Purusha are both form and formless, which one needs to understand. And this again leads to the question to near to the answer or answer near to for Kasmai Devaya Havisha Vidhema. This spiritual communion that is called sexual intercourse is all about the aspect of yoga and Samayoga, that is the highest level. Both male and female have these innate qualities of yoga drashta, yoga drishya, yoga maya, yoga mahamaya. and they have the qualities and those requisites or those requirements or those limitations which clearly make them understand what is right and what is wrong. So, this sexual intercourse of male and female has been clearly defined in Vedas. Today, if I really look at, not everyone has really understood that to the core. Unfortunately, if there is any issue between male and females in sexual intercourse, that's when the ecosystem's imbalance starts happening. Raga, Dvesha, Mada, Mascharya aspect also comes into picture. If these psychological character aspects from the psychometry, psychotic point of view, this body is very much vulnerable to that, irrespective of that gender biased. Whether it is male, whether it is both of them have this. They need to understand this. That is the reason why sexual intercourse, if it is done in a right way, with a definitive positive thinking, that's when the clans, survive. And today the ecosystem is having that imbalance only due to not understanding these limitations, these requisites, these prerequisites. Think about it, ladies and gentlemen. And this is where that Natya Shastra's inference of understanding about that Prakriti and Purusha aspect needs to be understood. And this was clearly explained from the viewpoint of Raga, Dvesha, Mada, Mascharya aspect and, Rajo, Tamo, Sattva gunas. How do you inculcate? How do you invite? How do you understand this? I leave it on to you. And I leave it on to what you call medical fraternity and the scientists as to whether they're going in the right direction or not. Specifically for medical fraternity. What is that one reason that you people are looking at that conversion from male to female through operations or female to male operations? Because this Anu and Paramanu, so-called, which comes into being, comes with standard set of compositions of the body, right? DNA, RNA, XY chromosomes, hormone sets, etc., etc. If you are disturbing that, don't you think that is what you call creating that imbalance in the ecosystem? Ladies and gentlemen, understand this. It's a very hard point and a research point too for one to. Of course, if they are born naturally with both male and female characters, that's okay, because that could be due to previous births, deeds, or whatever. I do not want to question on that. So we need to think this Prakriti and Purusha being the benefactors, or Shiva and Parvati being the benefactors, this male and female being the amshas or the embodiments of Prakriti and Purusha who are representing them. for making sure that this earthly existence is following all the requisites and prerequisites. It is again a very debatable aspect. There will be a lot of debates in this. Thus, I conclude this video with a positive note. Stay blessed and have a real blissful life. Think about what I am talking about. Stay blessed. Have a real blissful life. May the Guru's grace be with one. Lokas samstas sukhino bhavantu sarve janas sukhino